Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Namaste, namaskar. I recognize the beauty in you as I recognize the beauty in me. I recognize divinity in you as I recognize divinity in me. So respect to everybody out there. How you doing, family? Welcome to another episode of Live from the Mathematical Universe with your brother King Simon, the Numerovator. If you want to connect or buy any of my books, or book a session, a serious session. Don't not just for not just for a quick fix. That's why I myself don't like to do consultation on the street at festivals and all that. I'd rather give out a flyer and tell you to come and support me, and let's do it privately. Because and I'm not disrespecting anybody so don't take it personal, because I know a lot of people are emotional and very personal nowadays, but don't take it personal. When you come up on me or walk up on me, because of my training, so I'm giving you my history now, because of my training in places like the Swords of Islam, under the Ansarullah community, 5% Nation, even before the Ansar community, the 5% of gods and earth, and training in the Nation of Islam and under certain dojos that I trained with certain military men, police officers, and all that. My eyes are always wandering, always because that's what we were taught, to be always on the alert, to walk our post in a perfect manner, being always on the alert. That is one of our general, always on the alert. So in the Nation of Islam, founded by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was guided by Master Fard Muhammad, and I was under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And at that time, training vigorously with the FOI trainers of that time, like GM Aziz, Abdullah G. Aziz, and Soki Littlejohn would come in and appear, but Brother Wayne, Sean Wayne, was definitely always on me everywhere we went. We trained in Fort Greene Park and different places also. We trained all over. We trained on the movie sets when there was break time. We trained on scenarios. If you're attacked on the street, if you're touched, if you're bumped, we was just training, especially in the 90s. So if you are walking up on me, and that's why I say I don't like doing things on the street. Now, Lloyd Strayhorn, he likes to do things at festivals and different events, and he's a different person than myself. But because of where I was trained, who I was trained by, and the organizations that I've been under, I don't like doing it because my eyes I'm focused on you, yes, when I'm doing those quick 10-minute things, but yet I'm also paying attention to everything around me. That's why when I'm at events, and if you notice Professor Griff is like that himself, you might notice Blue Pill and Red Pill, they like to have their back up against the wall, like most people that have been trained in anything, any type of discipline. Even the streets, even the brothers in the streets understand that. You're back up against the wall, even when restaurants, we facing doors and all that kind of stuff. We already mapped out the place as soon as we walked in. So that's why I choose not to. I don't like to engage too much. And I understand, a friend told me that when I was at Brother Panic's event, a brother wanted to engage with me, but he wanted to engage and find out his numbers and all that kind of stuff. And I just shook his hand respectfully and then kept it moving. I'm not doing all of that while I'm on the streets, while I'm in a major event at Brother Panic's memorial. A brother tried, and I heard he took offense, and my friend had to explain to him that that's how King Simon rolls because of what I came up under. And I didn't come up under this just recently. I've been in it since I was 14. And then I have a father that's a former military. I have an uncle that was former British military. I have uncles that were former corporals in Jamaican police officers. So I basically, on both sides of my family, was raised in a military type, police type setting, where there were certain disciplines that we had to adhere to. Of course, when my father left, I had to go to other organizations. When my father was kicked out of my grandmother's house, out of his mother's house, and I'm not afraid to say it, I've said it before, because of what he was doing on them streets, after he left the military and became a paramedic and started owning nightclubs. It comes with the territory when you're a public person. And that is also why it's important that I do something like this. That I woke up this morning and I didn't remember any of my dreams, but yet there was something that I watched yesterday. I watched Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson and, of course, John Travolta and Vin Rames and all that. And one of the quotes was a moment of clarity. When there's a moment of clarity. And I woke up this morning with that in my spirit, a moment of clarity, because there's a certain portion of a man and a woman's life when we have a moment of clarity of who is supposed to be in our life, who is not supposed to be in our life, what jobs we're going to take, what businesses we're going to pursue, what schooling we're going to pursue. There's a moment of clarity. I have Dr. Sabi on the shirt because there was a moment of clarity when Dr. Sabi said, I am going to be this. After learning from his mother, he said he didn't have no training from his father. His father wasn't there. But there was a moment of clarity that he said he was going to teach on the Afro-bio-mineral balance. There was a moment of clarity that his wife joined forces with him at that time, Ma'a. Although he was married prior to Ma'a, but he wasn't on that journey. He was on the Nation of Islam journey, I think, prior to Ma'a. But when he got with Ma'a, over 40 years ago, or going on 50 years ago, they created this fig tree, because fig tree represents something that you're handing out, something of representing that you're trying to get some type of healing, where the olive tree is where you're trying to hand it out to somebody so you can make amends. The fig tree deals with the healing. The olive tree deals with making amends with somebody or something. When you offer the olive tree, or the fig, it's either the fig tree or the olive tree, but I know one of they mean they have a certain meaning why he would even name the fig tree. And fig was one of the alkaline foods or fruits that they would also use, and also talk about. So the topic is a moment of clarity, a numerovational perspective. I will focus on moment and clarity, but I want to focus on the whole saying because it's relevant to this time. And I hope what I do is not just relevant. I don't want to be, and I listened to Star, and Star shouted me out yesterday. And Star said something, and I call him brother. He knows I call him brother. And he says on his show, Star Report, he says King Simon is one of the few people he allows to call him brother. He has a brother. He has an older brother who I know of. I never met him, but I know he has an older brother. But to be able to call someone like that, or allowed to be called somebody like Star a brother, means that there is something in me connected with him that really resonates to that moment of. There was a moment of clarity when he said, because he remember back in the day in Hot 97 and all those places, he would never allow nobody call him brother. But there's certain key people in his life that have showed him a certain amount of respect, and he has showed them a amount of respect. There was a certain moment of clarity when I was able to say, brother King Simon, brother Star. And that's what I'm talking about. That moment of clarity that everyone has. Some of us follow that clarity that they may have been clear. Some of us don't. Some of us run away from it. And the numbers reveal that just in the words alone, just by what it adds up alone. And we're going to talk about that. And I have a little time. I do have a session at 11 o'clock. And I did set my alarm for 10:33. And I'm going to get into it because a lot of you, there's a moment of clarity in your life that you're trying to reach or trying to allow yourself to become and fall into it. Because when you're clear about something that you're supposed to do and want to do in this world, it's important that we have that moment of clarity. And when I looked it up online, and I want to thank everybody that came on the show last night with Billy Carson. Billy Carson had a wonderful time last night. Do remember to vote for me. Do remember to vote for me at 954-245-0086, television hosts, especially on Forbidden Knowledge. If you're a Forbidden Knowledge TV watcher, I am nominated for the television host of the year. And I want to be amongst that number that walk up there with either Dr. B or Brother Rich or whoever else has been nominated, Michael Beckwith or whoever received the Lifetime Achievement Award. I want to be right there. But Billy Carson and I had a great time. Do remember that he will be in Atlanta. The regular tickets are sold out. They have the VIP. I just looked on the website, and the VIP tickets are available, not the regular tickets, which were $44. The VIP tickets are a little more. All right. So and do remember later on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, because Professor Zahalia is a martial arts extraordinaire carrying the mantle of Sanukas, Rue Jiu-Jitsu. She's going to be holding an online Patreon dissertation and showing you what to do, especially sisters and brothers, in case of emergency while you're on them streets. So deadlyartsofsurvival.com. You can go to, or you can go to www.patreon.com/DAOSTV. Okay. So again, the topic is a numerovational perspective of when we have a moment of clarity. And the online meaning of it is a moment of clarity, a moment of great understanding, a great sudden realization when everything about a situation comes into perspective. You see the meaning right there on the bottom there. Moment of clarity, according to online study, online research, means from this basic perspective, because I'm going to show the other perspective that they're having. Read it carefully, take a snapshot of it, because I want all of you to realize that many of us go through this. Many of us have gone through this. Again, moment of clarity, a moment of great understanding or understanding, a great sudden realization when everything about a situation comes into perspective. And that can be pertaining to family, friends, relationship, etc., etc., etc. I was thinking about making this a call-in show, but because I'm kind of strapped for time, and I got a session at 11 o'clock. I just don't want to overextend it, because when y'all start calling in, I want to answer your questions from a numerovational perspective. That's very important to me, because I am the Numerovator, and it's a word that was downloaded to me, numerovation, for a reason, to help motivate people, not just read, not your reader. I may dislike when people call me a reader, but I understand that you got to be guided into the language of what I do. I'm an advisor and a consultant. That's what I am. I'm an advisor and a consultant, using the numbers to get you to stay motivated at all costs. Big up to everybody that's tuning in. Big up to everybody that's came in. You know, big up to everybody on IG and Facebook. So, a moment of clarity, a moment of great understanding, a great sudden realization when everything about a situation comes into perspective. Men and women, when we have children or planning to have children, there's a moment of clarity about this situation from each other's perspective. The man might think, how I'm going to take care of it. I'm not making enough money. The woman might be thinking a different way. Or how are we going to do this? Or how I'm going to feed this? Am I ready to be a mother? The father said, am I ready to be a father? And some of us have ran. I can admit there's certain times that I ran. Certain situations, some certain circumstances, I ran away, but yet still tried to be in and out, because maybe I wasn't ready at the young age. My first child was around 18, between 18 and 20, 21, one of those. So I was still young and becoming who I became, where, like, I would say I'm better now as a human being and a man now than I was when I was in those days, because I was still trying to find myself, but yet having sex and doing what we do, you know? And it's both our faults. It's the duality of it all. So there's always a moment of clarity. Even when you decide to have children, there's a moment of clarity. There's a moment that needs to be researched. It needs to be expressed to each other. That's why the words moment of reality, moments of reality, adds up to the 73. 73 deals with research and spiritual understanding, and then 3 deals with the need to express it. So when you have a moment of clarity within yourself, you need to deeply research. Are you going to do this thing? Are you going to deal with this person? Are you going to allow this person in my space? that would either be a better situation or it might be a bad situation. That's why it's the moment of great understanding, a great sudden realization, when everything about a situation comes into perspective. And when it comes into perspective, do you want to deal with that perspective? If a woman says to a man, I want to be in a polyamorous relationship. Polyamorous don't mean that she's just dealing with you and you can have more than one woman. It means that she can have more than one man too. And when you come to a man and say, can you be in a monogamous relationship or polygamous relationship or polygynous relationship? These are moments of clarity when someone is honest with you, especially when it comes to relationship, because a lot of us are dishonest when a lot of brothers or sisters want to do certain things. They want to have multiple men and multiple women. Thus, back in the day, men become womenizers and women become menizers, or men become gigolos and pimps, and women become hoes and whores, and all that kind of stuff happen. These words that are thrown around for someone who just has a moment of clarity that they cannot be single. When I was in the club life, I thought like that, and I met most of my women I met in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? I thought like that. I was a big womanizer. Oh my goodness, my children's mothers will tell you. Because I am the MC, or I was the assistant manager of the club, or I was on the stage. So you're going to attract what it is. You're going to attract who it is. You're going to attract the environment that you're in. You're going to attract women, especially if you got a voice and you are confident about what you do. I remember one of my son's mother said, yo, your confidence is really what drew me in. Confidence. So you could look like the Elephant Man. I'm not talking about the reggae artist. I'm talking about the deformity that they did a movie about and a biodoc about. You can look like the Elephant Man, but if you got confidence, you can look like whatever outwardly, but inwardly, if you're confident about your mission, if you're clear about what you want to do and where you want to go to, when you have that moment of clarity that my voice is penetrable and my voice can manipulate audiences. As much as people thought Shaba was a very ugly man, Shaba was a very beautiful Black man that looked like an African warrior. But a lot of people were so pushed on with this light skin thing back in the day, and this you got to be tall, dark, and handsome, and all that kind of stuff. But when Shaba spoke to you on that stage with his beautiful baritone voice, with confidence, lo punani bar, lo punani bar, lo punani bar, punani idiot, hima punani idiot. Confidence is definitely, like Nikki says, magnetic. I'm going to have to break down that word confidence one day, because there's something about that confidence that a man has or a woman has that can get on the stage and exude so much power to the point that we respect this man, to the point that he get up and get a Grammy. Confidence. But remember, Shaba was clear about his mission. That's why you don't hear a lot of scandals with Shaba. That man was married to his wife for umpteen amount of years with 2 or 3 children. That's it. That's it. And he put them all through school. Where you might find Elephant Man, the reggae artist, has 38 children. Or Ninja Man, people used to call him ugly, and he has 20-something children. But they was confident and they was clear about what they did. I used to work with these people. I was a reggae artist, a reggae promoter, Caribbean music promoter. My family's from Spanish Town and all over Jamaica, in different parts of Jamaica. Some of the families from Cuba, Cuba used to go back and forth with Jamaica. So we're Afro-Cuban, Jamaican, Maroonian, and all that. We're from the Maroons. My aunt used to give us the history of the Maroon and Arawak in our family. So I know where my pedigree is. And there's Maroons of America as there's Maroons of Jamaica. Don't get it twisted. Like Dr. John Henry Clark says, it was just a matter of a boat stop, boats dropping off people in different places. Now, were there people here already and they mixed them? Of course they were. Some people traveled long before. Some people were just here and we don't know where they came from. That's why I don't get into arguments with all of them. We was all over the world. Moment of clarity. Today's topic is exactly what it is. This is the topic for today. And there's an online, let me share with, before I go to the numbers on the board, let me share what else they say online about those words. It says the spiritual meaning of a moment of clarity. Now I'm going to highlight the side that I'm reading right here. This is the side that I'm going to read and share with you right now. It says, so I'm going to highlight each chapter. Matter of fact, I don't have to highlight each chapter. Let me just highlight all of it and just read it all the way through. So it says, a moment of clarity in a spiritual context is often described as an epiphany, spiritual awakening, or a realization that brings about a significant change in one's life. It can be a spontaneous moment or results from self-reflection actions that happened in your life. Spiritual clarity is an awareness of growth in the psyche, in the being, and within all aspects of connections. It is a soulful state where emotions are balanced and none varying too far in either a positive or negative direction. It promotes consciousness, conscious living, and conscious action. Moments of clarity often occur when someone reaches their breaking point or realize the nature of their spiritual malady. Let me read that part again. Moments of clarity often occurs when someone reaches their breaking point or realizes the nature of their spiritual malady. And malady is like, the word malady is dealing with, let me say, in terms of, could be karmic. If you look that up, but I'm one of those people. Let's look up the word. Let's get it right. What malady means. I have a sense of what it means, but malady means a disease or ailment. Malady. That's what malady. England, you might say malady. But malady is a disease or ailment. All right, so I wanted to make sure we're clear with that malady. All right, so it goes on to say, after I read that part, let me make sure I was in a flow. I was in a flow before I stopped. Where did I have that flow? It was just right there. Where you at? Because it was the ending of a sentence. It was the ending of there it is. It says, moments of clarity often occurs when someone reaches their breaking point or realizes the nature of their spiritual malady. They can also be catalyzed by an event or encounter with another person. These moments can serve as the impetus for seeking help or making significant changes. In essence, a moment of clarity is a profound understanding or realization that brings about a shift in one's perspective or behavior. It is a transformative experience that can lead to personal growth and spiritual enlightenment. It's about choosing what you want in your energetic life and what doesn't work for you. It is about taking responsibility for your action and understanding that we act the way we do because we give ourselves permission to. Very good. That essence. I like that essence. I'm going to copy and paste that essence and put it on my thing here. So this moment of clarity that all of us have the opportunity to explore and also deal with in family, amongst your business relationship, amongst your friendship, all of this is relevant. But like Star, and I was getting to a point with Star, like Star, I want to be a factor. I don't just want to be relevant, because relevant only lasts for a moment. But when you're a factor in this world, why the things you say and what I do with I want numerovation to be a factor, not just be relevant for the time. That's why the word numerology came about in 1907, and it is now a factor in our life because it only means the study of numbers. Mathematics came about in certain portions of our time on earth, and now it is a factor in our life. So I know that numerovation will be a factor in people's lives 100 years from now. Hopefully my children can galvanize from it and all that. And it's not even about the this and the that and legalizing anything. Numerology, the word numerology was not legalized and trademarked and all that craziness. I'm not even thinking about that. You know why I don't think about that? Although I have to a certain extent, but I haven't thought about it only because as a humanitarian, misnomer the Aquarius, born February the 1st, 1967, I want y'all to just go and fly with the numerovational interpretations that I have to offer, that other numerologists may have to offer, but they may not call it numerology, numerovation. They may call it astronumerology, like Lloyd does. They may call it numerovational, numerical analytics and all that kind of stuff. They may call it whatever, GPS and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when a person does and share their gift with the individuals out there, it's helping you to have a moment of clarity of who you are and what you need to do in your life. Because the word's moment, a moment of clarity, adds up to a number 20, a number 73 in the Pythagorean system and a number 60 in the Chaldean system. Now, if I took off the A and just say moment of clarity, it would add up to a number 72. 72 deals with the spiritual compassion that you have to have when you realize that you're in a moment of clarity. 73 deals with the spiritual expression because I added the A to it. Then it adds up to the number 10, which is the wheel of fortune energy. So when you have a moment of clarity, then it will lead you to what you need to do for in a fortunate manner. It helps you and allow you to expand your spiritual awareness of that moment of clarity so you can be number one in whatever you do. That's why it adds up to a number 10 and 10 adds up to a number 1. So you are clear about your mission. I am clear about my mission. And I've been in various organizations from the Ansar Allah community. I've never been in the Nuwapian. I've been in the Ansar Allah community. I respect certain information that the Nuwapian has to offer. But when I was with Imam Isa, who y'all called Dr. York of that time, he taught us how to be critical in our thinking, especially during the Islamic paradigm of the Ansar Allah community. We lived in a communal manner. This is what the like-minded wanted to do. That was something that was a part of his clarion call. No matter whatever things he went through, whatever he did, there was a moment of clarity that he said, I'm going to open up a community. When I was in the Nation of Islam, you got to remember the history of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and what the information that he got from Master Farad Muhammad. There was a moment of clarity that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad made it happen, and now the nation is going into its 100 years of existence. There's a moment of clarity that all of us, and some of y'all call it the aha moment. Aha, and I spoke about that before. Wait, that aha is a deity. You can Google it up. You can go Google and research yourself what aha, even Bobby Hemmett used to mention the aha and what the aha moment. The aha moment is a moment of clarity. It's just that this is a different vibration other than the aha. If I wrote aha moment, it will be another vibration that I can look up and break it down. Because aha is spelled A-H-A. So if I did the A-H-A, which is 118511, that equals a number 7. Again, the 7 comes out. The 7 comes out, and here is the number 10 again shows up. 8 plus 1 is 10. So again, the wheel of fortune goes right back. Even if I do, and this is the whole word, a moment of clarity adds up to the 73, which is a 10. But just aha moment, just aha alone, aha adds up to the number 10, which is again a part of that moment of clarity. This is not coincidence. This is not coincidence. That in the Pythagorean system, a moment of clarity adds up to 73. 7 plus 3 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. The word aha by itself adds up to a number 10. The aha moment. And when I add aha moment, when I add that 10 plus the 8, it adds up to 18, which is a 9. And 9 is the international highly elevated number. Aha moment. If I just broke down the aha moment. In the Pythagorean, in the Chaldean system, moment adds up to a number 30, and that's a number 3, and aha adds up to a number 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. I go right back to the wheel of fortune energy. Again, not a coincidence, not a coinky dink. It's not a coinky dink. Everything has its mathematical patterns, cycles, and sequences for the good and the bad, for the ugly, for the positive, the negative, for the destructive, the constructive, the obstructive. And sometimes people get complacent in their moment of clarity. You might have the moment of clarity right then in front of your face. And some of us will not take that next step to what they dreamt about, what they know they must do, because they've been through trauma that have held them back, whether it's from their family, whether it's from their mother, their father, their sister, their brothers, molestation, fondling, whatever you went through. There is a moment of clarity, an aha moment. At different intervals of your life, you're always brought back to what you're supposed to do. And that's why in my numerovational sessions, I always tell you, brothers and sisters, do not leave this planet without sharing your unique gifts. This is one of my unique gifts. This what Dr. Shakira Moore, that's one of her unique gifts, being an iridologist. What Lloyd Strayhorn does, astronumerology and palmistry, those are 2 of his unique gifts. There was an aha moment that these people had to decide what they're going to do. Carrie Ann Ingram doing distant Reiki, making jewelry, healing jewelry, and doing all of this. My son going into recording and singing. Me and his mother are singers. What Phil Valentine, why y'all love Phil Valentine? Because he had his aha moment and his moment of clarity. Remember, Dr. Phil Valentine was in the music business, singing and dancing and doing his little madness on the stage. But there was an aha moment that Dr. Philip Valentine said, you know what? I'm going to be the godfather of New York as far as the metaphysics community is concerned. And he did it. The special guest co-host, Angela Moulton, she's a teacher. There was an aha moment that she decided, yo, I'm gonna be a doctor and get my educational degree in teaching. Billy Carson, there was an aha moment with him. There's an aha moment with Mfundishi when he went on the first trip with Dr. Ben to Africa, and now he is one of the top linguists of Meduneta and Kiswahili, and also of martial arts, a Mfundishi in the martial arts, and He teaches classes on history of ancient Kush and Kemet. Everybody had their aha moment. Everybody that I promoted, that I'm promoting right here, Professor Zahalia, who I'm going to have tonight, had her aha moment to be in martial arts, not just by her father introducing it. Big up to Professor and Grandmaster Urban. Not just because of Dr. Moses Powell and she's seen it as she was a child growing up, but something in all of us had to spark something. That moment of clarity is that spark. That aha moment is that spark. And in the Pythagorean system, the Chaldean system, the words are a moment of clarity adds up to the number 60, which deals about balance, healing, truth, justice, reciprocity in an extreme manner. It takes the extremities of it all. Now, what was so interesting, because I'm not going to be up here long, but I got to be strong. I decided, which most numerologists would not do this. Most numerologists will not do this. Erase that because it's really not about the aha moment right now, but aha moment is connected to the moment of clarity. When I see the 70, when I added up all these numbers, and it came out to 73, and when I added up all these numbers in the Chaldean and all these numbers in the Pythagorean, and the numbers came up to 60, I decided to add 73 plus 60. And when I added 73 plus 60, it added up to 133. And my spirit this morning said, let me look in this woman's angel number book. Although she doesn't do this no more, she's a full Christian and all this, but she talks about Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and everybody else in here. On this particular page, 133, what she says, and tell me, does this not connect to the aha, the moment of clarity? It says, when I decided to put the combination of two systems and add them up, 73 plus 60 adds up to 133. And she said in this book, you have nothing to fear or worry about, as the ascended masters are completely supporting and surrounding you in all ways. Moment of clarity. When you, my brothers and sisters, have a moment of clarity, because the combination of the two, the Pythagorean and the Chaldean, I'm one of the only people that does this, because some people will just not do that. They don't even think to go that. But when you add the combination, you get another higher level of numerovational perspective. So when I added it, my spirit said, and I tell people, go with your spirit, but make sure you stay within the laws of the numbers, but go with your spirit. And what do I mean by the laws of your numbers? Some of y'all might see 66 here, right? Some of y'all might see 66. Some of y'all might see 33. That don't mean that's a 33, and that don't mean that's a 66. It's just that whatever letter that's connected to, it equates to the number 6. But only way that you get the double 6 if you have the double O or the double F, because in numerology, the number 6, the O might mean one thing, which might be the 15th number, and the F might be the 6th number. So 15 is different than the number 6 in a certain way because of the 1 and the 5. So this is not 66 per se, but when you see a double O or a double F, that's when you can equate it as a master number 66. Just wanted to show y'all, you got to keep within the laws, because there's a law of breathing, there's a law of breath, there's laws that's pertaining to your lungs and your body and your heart. There's always a law. When you go against the law, that's when you obstruct your lungs, your heart, any part of your body, and that can cause dis-ease. I'm just trying to show you. So when I added these two together, and I'm about to finish, when I added these two together, which I found very profound, it added up to 133. So the angel and the angle number is 133. And let me read what she says again. 133, because of the combination of those two numbers, when I added up a moment of clarity, 133, not coincidence. A moment of clarity says you have nothing to fear once you have that moment of clarity, or worry about once you have that moment of clarity. as the ascended masters or your ancestors or your divine parents or your divine angels around you are completely supporting and surrounding you in all ways. Book drop. Book drop. I don't have to drop the mic. I'm dropping books. She was right and exact. Because when you have a moment of clarity, when Dr. Sebi had his moment of clarity, when Dr. Africa, Queen of Four, when Jewel Pookrum had their moment of clarity, they had nothing to worry about. All they had to do is just do it and apply what they are clear about. Because the meaning, the moment of clarity is a moment of great understanding, a great sudden realization when everything about a situation comes into perspective. Dr. Sebi was supposed to be who he was supposed to be. There will never be another like him. Lloyd Strayhorn was supposed to be what he's supposed to be. There will never be another Lloyd Strayhorn. I am supposed to be who I'm supposed to be. There will never be another me. You are supposed to be who you're supposed to be. There will never be another person like you. You have individual fingerprints, eye retina, footprints, different tastes, smells than your mother and father because of their combination. And then when you combine with another man and a woman combine, they create another smell. When another man and a woman combine, they create another smell, taste, and new fingerprints and all. We are all individuals, but we all have to learn to work interdependent with each other and with the cosmic, the macrocosmic and the microcosmic universe. On that note, let me get prepared for these sessions. I'm glad I was able to go into what I had to go into. I know I didn't, boom, 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 bap. You see the word moment as up to number 30, which deals with mental foundation and mental also deal. If you read my book, that number 30 in my book, Numerovational for Mental Stability, that number 30 is the symbol of mental outlook or superior mindset. Superior mindset. So when you have that moment, you take a moment. And when you take that moment, you go into your mind. That superior mindset that the word adds up to the number 30. But it also adds up to the number 26 in the Pythagorean system, and 26 is the symbol of consideration of the path taken. So in that moment, you have to consider the path that you're taking. It's in my book. I'm just showing you how to read it. Somebody asked me a year ago, how do you read your book? Do you do any classes? I'm showing you now. So that resonated with me. I said, I'm going to show people how to read my book from different ways and different aspects. Don't limit yourself. And because 26 is the symbol of consideration of the path in certain system of numerology, or the number of threading lightly. So in that moment of clarity, you still have to thread lightly because you still got to do the necessary research and study of yourself and what you want to do. If you want to take it to the next level, take it to a high level. If you want to remain mediocre, that's up to you at the end of the day. The word clarity adds up to a number 34, which is a 7. 34 is the same meaning in compound numerology as the number 25. And the number 25 or the number 34 is the symbol of strength, experience, observation, strifes and trials, and endurance and intuition. Clarity, strength in your clarity. Experience with your clarity has to be gained. Observation of what you're clear about, what you're clear about. Enduring when you have that moment of clarity, you have to endure because now you have to put in that work. And I'm glad that the internal numbers, the internal letters add up to a number 35, which is an 8. 8 is a disciplinary number. 8 is a disciplinary number. It's all about putting in that work, but make sure in that moment of clarity, you love what you do because 6 is the number of love. 8 is a number of love, but it's a different type of love. All the even numbers have a different level of what you have to love to do. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? You better love yourself, appreciate yourself, but appreciate what you are clear about doing, that moment of clarity. The vowels in the Pythagorean, in the Chaldean system adds up to 23. And remember, 23 in my book, I talk about the symbol of the royal star or lion, the lioness or the lion or lioness. It's a good combination to have. That's the inner workings of the words, a moment of clarity. It's a good combination of have because it allows you to be freedom loving, adaptable. So even in your moment of clarity, the internal of it says you got to be adaptable. Then the number 2 said you got to be compassionate. The number 3 says you have to be able to express it. And the number 5 said you need to expand in it. That moment of clarity that we all can have for ourselves. Family, I'm not new to this. 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 I'm true to this. That's why I'm not just talking about people's birthday and satisfying your individual ways of, I want to just know about my birthday. I don't care about anything else. I know about my birthday, King Simon. Well, if you want to know about your birthday, baby, then you have to do is give me a text and book a session with me. And so we can do this and not do it online and all this kind of stuff. Lloyd does it online. Go check him on YouTube. If you can get in, he will do it online. But I'm very personable when it comes to what I do. Because while I'm doing your session, I have a multitude of books around me. These books behind me that you see, I reach for them. If my spirit says to go and clarify something in your session, I will do that in your consultation, something that will help you to activate your numbers and maximize your numbers, because it will not work unless you're willing to put it to work. Let me say that again. These numbers will not work if you're not willing to put them to work. Let me say that to the people in the back of the room. These numbers will not work if you're not willing to put them to work. And because the number, a moment of clarity adds up to the number 60 in her book, and I like to bring out her book because she has a balanced, angelic way about herself with that. When I look at her numbers and when I look at the name Gabriel, Gabriel is one of the angels in the biblical sense. But she says in the number 60, 60 merges the number of love, service, and compassion. With 0, the vibration of divine protection. So when you have a moment of clarity within yourself, because it adds up to the 60, you got to come with it with love. You got to come with that moment of clarity with service, with compassion. And remember, it is divinely protection because the 0 adds protection to anything that it follows. It also brings harmony, joy, gratitude, warmth. So when you have that moment of clarity, like I have a moment of clarity, like Dr. Phil Valentine has a moment of clarity, like Queen of 4 has her moment of clarity, like Ma'a Bowman has her moment of clarity, like you should have your moment of clarity. But you got to bring that balance, love, gratitude, and warmth and pleasure with what you're clear about doing in this realm. Because again, the meaning, the moment of clarity, a moment of great understanding and understanding, a great sudden realization internally and externally when everything about a situation comes into perspective. And like I read earlier, it says, in essence, a moment of clarity is a profound understanding or realization that brings about a shift in one's perspective or behavior. It is a transformational experience that can lead you to personal growth and spiritual enlightenment. It is about choosing what you want in your energetic life and what doesn't work for you. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and understanding that we act the way we do because we give ourselves permission to. Family, thank you very much for being a part of this journey. Thank you for allowing me to be here in front of you. Thank you for sharing your space with me, whether you're at work, whether you're at the job, whatever you might be doing, whether you're laying down in your bed, just listening to your brother. I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father and Mother, for shining your light on me. You keep me happy, so very happy. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, for shining your light on me and allowing me to shine my light on you from my numerovational perspective, because that's all I'm offering. I don't say it's the is all or be all. I'm just giving you perspective. That's why I whip out books and show y'all different books and start juggling books in front of your face and say, go buy this and go dig this. I'm showing you how to read my book, especially my book, because in my book, I say the symbol of this, the symbol of that, the symbol of this, the symbol of that. Every number, every word, every letter is a symbol of this and a symbol of that. That's why I tell people, get my book. If you can't donate to the channel, for what I do have to pay for a StreamYard. I pay $400 and something a year. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm doing it. And I've had it for some years. But if you want to get my books, here it is. If you want to take my 2-hour online class on Udemy, you can do that. It's only 2 hours, but my 8-hour course is what you really want to feel. But go fill out the 2 hours. I think it went up now from $15.99 up. So go to udemy.com/course/holistic numerovation so you can learn. That's an introductory course. That's introduction. Believe me, that's introductory level. But make sure you get all my books on Amazon or go to my Linktree /KingSimonthenumerovator. The audio book will be coming out. Still takes a lot of edit. I got 3 or 4 different segments. And because my son and I got to do it over Zoom, so he'll be in studio. We did some of it while I was in New York, but we got to do it over Zoom, and we just got to catch up with each other's time. It will be coming out. This book, I need to add pages because Amazon won't allow me to process this book unless I add. So it comes with more art and what pictures I want to be drawn over and all that kind of stuff, because I'm going to add a little photo glossary of my family and people in history that I love and respect. All right. Do remember tonight, family. I love all of you. Remember tonight, boom, I have Professor Zahalia Anderson, females, brothers, those who are interested in the martial arts. She is one of the best under Sanukas Rue Jiu-Jitsu, trained by her father, Grandmaster Urban, and also Dr. Moses Power and various other great grandmasters in the system. She has a big seminar, online seminar coming up to teach you the class and teach you the basic application. She'll have another student. She probably require you to have somebody in there to work out with you so you can learn certain moves, from basic moves. The Deadly Arts of Survival magazine, she's in that also. But you can go to Patreon, www.patreon.com /DAOSTV. She's on. And then don't forget, Infundishi will be in Nicholas, Brooklyn, teaching on ancient Kush, the parents of ancient Kemet. Nicholas, Brooklyn. Make sure you go over to Eventbrite and put in Nicholas, Brooklyn. Don't forget, Nia is going to be with us next week, Wednesday, of course, bringing peace to women and their families all over the world through the Women for Peace movement. And of course, we're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, on the 18th, Dr. Phil Valentine, the Atlanta, Georgia, is Billy Carson, and all of us going to be there at the premiere. Then Dr. Phil Valentine, we're going to be doing an interview with him on Malcolm X's birthday, and also Grace Jones' birthday. That's my cousin, so I got to shout her out every time. That's one of my cousins, my second cousin. Big up to the great Tassili Ma'at. We'll be interviewing her on a Wednesday about food as culture, and also we'll be interviewing this beautiful sister, Nairobi Vision from out of Canada also. And don't forget, we got the tribute to Dick Gregory coming up with Ashra Kwesi the next day. Tribute to Dick Gregory. Dr. B is going to be one of our special guests. Brother Rich, a whole host of people, celebrities and people that you know online with me will be passing through. And family, again, go to the studio for my son. That's greenstudioNYC.com if you want to do your audiobook. If you want to record your audiobook at home and then submit it to him and then do it over a live stream or a Zoom, he can do that also. He's able to do that. CarrieAnnIngram.com, CarrieAnnIngram.com, support her. And remember, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Hit him up. That's one of the elders that got it from his perspective. And big up Dr. Shakira F. Moore, master iridologist, and so much more in what she does. Go to her Linktree, /Holistica Healer, or give her a call, but text her because she might be with a client. Text her if you want that eagle eye drops and all that. She got some great eye drops that's good for the eyes, but please read the instructions. All right. Some people be bugging out and they don't read the instructions, but you got to read her instructions. 570-972-9308. And remember, text me if you want to book a session with me. Text me if you want to book a session with me. I reveal certain things in your numbers that might send you to an iridologist, might send you to a KT to arch degree, that might send you to doing a hypnotherapy with my dear friend Kendall and all that kind of stuff. So if you do that, hey, it is what it is. Of course, I talked about the course on Udemy. You can talk about books you can get. Audio book, I talked about that. Also, I spoke about that. Remember what Einstein says, logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. The other saying by Einstein, the only real valuable thing is intuition. Dr. B says, I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. Make sure y'all vote for Dr. B for the Forbidden Knowledge Second Annual Awards. Make sure y'all vote for him. And the late, great Dr. Delbert Blair says, please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Thank y'all very much, family. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This was one of our teachers of the system of Sanukis and V. Arnice, Professor V and Dr. Moses Power. And when these men and the great women under the systems that they do today, when these men found out that moment of clarity, they became some of the greatest martial arts practitioners in the world. Dr. Moses Powell is the brother that's is sitting down in a meditation, and Professor V from out of the Philippines, he is in meditation too. That was Dr. Moses Powell's teacher, one of his main teachers at that. So enough honor and respect to the late great grandmasters, supreme grandmasters, Dr. Moses Powell, and of course his teacher, one of his great teachers, the one and only Professor V, who I had the opportunity to not be on the mat with, but I've spoke with Dr. Powell extensively, and I've watched him over the years, because back in the 90s, you had to be a black belt to be on the mat. And I didn't reach black belt yet, but he was always talking. I wrote an article about him. I wrote a news article. I was always talking to him. He always loved what I was doing because I was into entertainment. He would show me a few moves while I was sitting down right there in the barber chair at one of Anthony Muhammad's brothers. And he would show me a few moves, but he always was very easy with King Simon. And but when I was on the mat with Anthony or Wayne, they was not easy. they was training. So big up to them. And thank all of you again for watching and locking in and showing love. And believe me, family, help your children to have that moment of clarity. Help yourself to have that moment of clarity. Numerology can help. Astrology can help. Cardiology can help. Spiritual systems can help. Your Christian church, your Hebrew church, all of it. That's all of the armor of God. That's what I wrote about in my book, Taking on All the Armor of God. And it's everything that you could do to help you make yourself a better person. All right. So have a great day, afternoon or evening. Thank you so much. Thank everybody for coming on from wherever you check me out. Wherever you check me out. Believe me, if you take my online course through Udemy, you're going to want my 8-hour course, because that's raw, uncut, and it's straight to the point. And I'm delivering and showing all kinds of books. I don't do that in Udemy. I show all kinds of books and information in the 8-hour course. And it's a little bit more than that Udemy course, because Udemy bounces back and forth, with different prices. So thank you for watching a numerovational perspective of when we have a moment of clarity, an expression by Brother King Simon Kweku for all platforms. And you can link me at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're tuning in this world, all 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth. Peace and love. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. WhatsApp is for international clients only. Somebody just asked me if they can get me on WhatsApp. Text me via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is for international clients only. Do not text me if you live in the United States or in Puerto Rico or in the U.S. Virgin Islands via WhatsApp. Use regular phone. But if you live outside of the United States, please use WhatsApp or Signal. All right? Thank you very much, family. I just had to come back and clarify that. Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You can also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator.
King Simon. I love him. He's family. And he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually.
That's right.
So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, his show is called, it was really based on Numerovation. It's a numerology show. And it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes.
By King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerovator, using the numbers, or quote-unquote numerals, and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.